First Pride, 1972 in the UK. Do we still need it now?
For what reason is my question. My objection to Pride is with the LGBTQ plus acronym that ever seems to expand. They put all these identities under one umbrella. This is why the LGB Alliance have tried to break away from the TQ plus, which is a gender identity from sexuality. This is something that the viewer just said there. Gay people, it's a private matter, right?
Yeah.
I'm not particularly interested in hearing about it, but if you're not hurting anyone, quote unquote, whatever, I can't do anything about that. The TQ plus, the idea that one, gender identity can change your biological sex by thought is a faulty premise. And all of the medical establishment, all of the activist networks that push trans surgery, trans affirmation, hormones and that as the way of addressing gender dysphoria is doing a grave disservice to people that are suffering from that, people I've spoken to and have befriended. You look at the studies, they are funded by the companies that decide to produce the drugs.
Drugs that they're on for life.
Yeah,
but doesn't the trans... having the trans... community, I don't really like that word, but, you know, the idea of trans people being mingled in with gay people, I don't know whether you're lesbian, bisexual, gay, like you say, I don't mind, whatever. That's part of the problem with Pride, isn't it? That's why it gets kind of mixed up in what people see as being slightly more sort of pernicious ideologies, particularly around children, because as our lovely messenger there said, this is supposed to be about celebration, it's about freedom, whereas actually trans identity could much more easily be rooted in something that is more of a mental health problem, like you say, a gender dysphoria problem.
Yeah, and as well, if you're attracted to the same sex, then you can say you can change your gender just by thinking about it. They seem to self-contradict, in my mind. The unfortunate thing is, as well, kink has now been encompassed into Pride because they keep expanding the acronym.
Yeah.
And so, in order to be liberated, in order to be free, in order to not oppress anyone, we have to tolerate people doing sordid things in the middle of the street where people have brought their children along to feel inclusive. That doesn't create a very wholesome civilization either. And so it's no wonder that, particularly in America, the rates of same-sex marriage or same-sex partnership acceptance has fallen by about 7% in the last year because people are seeing these videos routinely of whether it's Drag Queen Story Hour or Pride Parades and gone, well, that's just disgusting. No, thank you. You shouldn't be walking around in a dog costume in the middle of the day.
So in other words, what you're saying is that there's kind of... people are getting whipped up into hating gay people in a way that they haven't done before, because a lot of the material, Rachel, around this celebration now is pretty extreme in terms of your sexual palate. Not your personal sexual palate. We've only just met. I mean, that would be a terrible speculation. But I guess what Connor's point is, you know, do we need it? Simply.
So... I am probably from a very different standpoint, and that's because my stepfather transitioned in 1972.
Wow. He was ahead of the curve.
He was ahead of the curve. And had he probably been able to be himself, he would probably have come out as gay rather than going to the length of transitioning, which back then it just was no.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Very rare.
As part of the result of that, we were taken into care because it was deemed by social services that being with a transitioned parent was just no. So, from the point of view of raising awareness and allowing people to be themselves in whatever capacity, I think it's great. People should be allowed to be themselves. And from a commercial point of view, being a small business owner, if people want to buy the merchandise, then let's let them, because at least it stimulates the economy in some way.